What is going on, Raptors Nation? It is Luca here, back with another video. Hope you're all doing well. The Toronto Raptors got absolutely blown out by the Houston Rockets and really downright embarrassed. This was a no contest. I mean, the Raptors, they really didn't put up a fight at all in this one. This was one-sided as could be, as Fred VanVleet gets the last laugh over the Toronto Raptors in his first matchup against his former team since leaving Toronto to join the Rockets. We're going to talk about it, guys. Do me a solid, hit a like on the video, and please subscribe to the channel over here on the Raptors Nation YouTube channel. We're just 10 subs away, guys, from 1K. So if you guys can help me hit that, that would be greatly appreciated. So yeah, this one was ugly. I mean, you're going to hear the phrase from me, life in a rebuild, a lot. And this was life in a rebuild. Definitely the ugly side of a rebuild, as the Toronto Raptors, who did actually get some starters back in this one, which you thought, okay, you know, Raptors coming off two great outings competitively against the Hawks. Bulls were able to win against Chicago. Now getting two key starters back, maybe they can make this game interesting against Houston. That was not the case. Jakob Poeltl did return to the Raptors lineup after missing a whole bunch of time. It was great to see him back. And Emmanuel Quickley was back as well. RJ Barrett remains out. But Poeltl, as expected, he had some rust. He did foul out of this game with 6 personal fouls, was 3 of 5, limited action, 20 minutes, had 6 points, 5 rebounds, did have 2 blocks. And then Emmanuel Quickley did have 25 points on 7 of 16 shooting, 6 of 11 from 3. So at least he was able to get that 3 ball to fall, 6 assists. But really, I mean, the only guy who showed up in this one as a whole from start to finish was Scottie Barnes. He was really good in this one. 28 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 10 of 17 from the field. But really, the Raptors just had no fight in them. They had no effort, and the Rockets did absolutely whatever they wanted to the Toronto Raptors. I mean, you look at the Rockets in this one, guys, they just annihilated the Raptors in points in the paint. And it's funny because you thought the Raptors were going to get some much-needed reinforcement with Jakob Poeltl back in the lineup, but the Rockets, they just had their way in the paint, 84-54 over the Raptors inside of the paint. They all rebounded Toronto plus 12. Rockets shot at 59% from the field to the Raptors 44%, shot at 35% from 3 to the Raptors 33%. And the Rockets beat the Raptors at the one thing that they have consistently done well all season during this down year of theirs, and that is move the ball. As the Raptors, they only had 17 assists. The Rockets had 30. And not only did the Rockets beat the Raptors, but they also denied them a chance of making history, because the Raptors were one more game away from being in the record books at the top of being the only team to have 30 consecutive games with 25 or more assists, and the Raptors fall short at 29 with a chance to take sole possession of that record. They finished this game with 17. So that just put more salt in the wound on what was just a brutal loss for this team. The Rockets led by as many as 31. They really just busted this game wide open in the third quarter, carried that 30-point lead into the fourth. And for the Raptors, I mean, this is what it's going to be like, right? They're going to have moments where they look good and they're in games with a chance to win. And then they're just going to have these games like we saw in Houston where they completely just fall flat on their face. I mean, there was not much going for this team. Bruce Brown struggled from the field. Gary Trent Jr. struggled from the field. You look at the Raptors bench, it was basically non-existent. Thad Young had 8. Wara had 8. Schroeder had 8. Dick, he really struggled. He was 1 of 8. He was a minus 19, only had 3 points, as the Raptors really didn't have many positives in this one. Like I said, just outside of Scottie Barnes. And then I guess you could call it the most interesting part of this game to me was when Dennis Schroeder and Fred got into it a little bit. And then what was funny was when there was that sequence with Fred and Schroeder fighting for the ball, Scottie looked like he wanted to smoke with Fred as he dove out of nowhere to get into that fight for the ball. And then after that sequence, we did see Schroeder and VanVleet exchange some words. And Schroeder, you know, he did whatever he could to try to spark the Raptors, just like something, get the juices flowing, get them at least to have some fight in them, getting their butts kicked as badly as they were to, get them angry and really try to spark something, but nothing came from that. The Toronto Raptors simply wanted no part of this game, it looked like. And this was just a really, really tough watch. Bad loss. And look, I mean, they're in a rebuild, they're in a tank. It looks like they're going to lose a lot more of these games. But of course, when you're in a development year, you want to see these guys at least play hard. You want to see more of the games we saw in the previous two where the Raptors actually look like they're fighting and trying and playing, not a team that just simply rolled over and gave up midway through the game, because it really looked like that was the case in this one. I mean, the Houston Rockets were just doing whatever they wanted. And, you got to give them a lot of credit to Houston. They're no scrub team. I know their record isn't where they want it to be. They're 23-25, but they got some guys who can play. I'm a real big fan of Sengun. I thought he was one of the all-star snubs. If you want to talk about snubs, obviously Scotty didn't get in, but Sengun, I thought, had a good chance of getting in. He obviously didn't get selected. 24 points, 13 rebounds. He was 2 assists shy of a triple-double. And then you talk about Fred. He didn't even have the best of games. Only 10 points on 4 of 7 shooting. Didn't even shoot it a whole ton. 6 assists. Was a plus 13, though. But the Rockets bench, I mean, between Thompson and Whitmore, they're two really good young talents. They completely made a huge impact in this one. Thompson at 19, and then Whitmore, who the Raptors could have drafted. A lot of teams could have drafted Whitmore, who somehow felt the 20, dropped 25. So this is just a tough one that the Raptors got to forget about and move on. But the Raptors now fall to 1-2 on their road trip, 17-31, and they'll be 2.5 games back now, or up on, I should say, of the Blazers. If you guys are following the whole tank race of the Raptors, maybe trying to want to finish with the 5th worst record, which would give them a better chance of keeping their 2024 first round pick. And then finally, in closing here, guys, obviously we're a week away before the trade deadline. All eyes are going to be on all teams, and we'll see which teams do get aggressive and make moves. But I've said it before, I'll say it again to close this video. I do think the Raptors should head towards a fire sale, and guys who they should look to move ahead of next week's deadline, Bruce Brown Jr. makes a lot of sense. Gary Trent Jr. I would trade. He's way too inconsistent for my liking. Try to cash in on him. Dennis Schroeder, Boucher, some veterans that obviously would make some sense on teams looking to make a playoff run. So we will see if the Raptors get busy and end up making more moves. But this was a really bad loss against the Rockets. The Raptors lose to Fred VanVleet in Houston, and it's not going to get any easier for Toronto, as they're going to be taking on the OKC Thunder on Sunday. That is an example, though, of a team that took the rebuild route, and it paid off. That is it from everybody. This is Lucas signing off. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, stay safe.